This is episode 20.
Is it?
Right?
Is it?
I don't know. I just got this. Waited a while for it. I've had the same 3D mouse since college, 2010. So quite honestly, 16 years at this point. This thing, I don't know if it's because my hand is big or something, but I preferred the other one. No man, show me the other one. Yeah, that one, because you kind of like put your hand right around it, but this is really cool because it's got preset features for views for front, rear, and top, just right on. So that's pretty awesome for quick. And then it's got all kinds of quick functions and buttons. This is the Pro, the wireless Pro, and then they have an Enterprise, which looks like you're controlling a spaceship. And then it's got all these commands: Shift, Escape, Control, Alt. We use Escape lots. We use Control and Shift lots. So it'll be training my brain to use it, but then I also don't want to train it too much, because then if I go anywhere, I won't be able to do the same thing unless I travel with this. It did come with a nice carry case, and then the Bluetooth thing goes in there. So maybe I'll just travel with it everywhere. But let's look at something that we're designing, because that's what you guys are here for. I've been working on the 370Z mild kit. Okay, now the process of making a V2 of anything today, it's basically applying everything we've learned after 2 or 3 years. So the kit's been out for probably 4 years, the mild kit, and there's methods of building it easier, building it better, building it lighter, building it stronger. We've seen hundreds of these kits now. We've built hundreds of these kits, and they actually take quite a while, ton of welding. So minimizing welding, we have a design criteria. When we look at something again, what do we want to improve or change? The bump stop was one, the build time was another. So going deep into it, I have successfully created what I'm really happy with, and this is essentially it. So it's a one-piece lower control arm, no welding. The current one is 3 pieces with a ton of welding. So the body of this is essentially just formed. We're bracing this bend. The arm didn't need to be bent at all if the customer is running a rack relocation kit, but if they're running the OEM rack position, then it would actually still hit it. I simulated the whole thing with the mini kit here. We've done a nice analysis on everything. The mini kit is exactly 0 Ackerman, and we've found the sweet spot for where the tire needs to end up, and then how much angle you can get with OEM uppers, and then we have adjustable uppers, and you can push everything out wider. So currently this kit, if you optimized everything, you could get 60 degrees with the OEM knuckle and the mini adapter with a rack relocation. You pushed everything out and then you run a fairly narrow tire, you can do it. Which is crazy because the kit itself as a whole isn't that expensive. And then the one thing that's really cool that we did, do I have the billet one in here? I don't think I put the billet lollipop. This is just, so I made this lollipop just so we could get it on the prototype car, but this whole thing will be billet. I actually showed it in the other video, the block that you flip and slide. So that is actually going to replace this, but this is so that we can build it like tomorrow and get it on one of our cars and get it in the ice drifting. Ice drifting is great for prototyping and testing. So this is what I came up with. This might actually end up being better than the billet one. I don't know, because I had to come up with a way. Can't flip, but it still needs to be adjustable. Now, when you clamp slots, likely 2 M12s torqued to whatever, 90 to 110 foot-pounds is probably enough to prevent this block from slipping, but we have this adjuster that will just bump up against the subframe just to prevent anything from actually sliding under braking or under anything like that. So it's essentially a bump stop set screw, and it's going to have a uniball, and essentially this is exactly how our BMW angle kits are. This is based on the original design having a similar pin here as well, and it's going to make all the adjustments and things easy. And then the one thing that a customer had, which we made racing control arms as well for a guy, he wanted the arm to be able to droop much further so that he his shock that has helper springs installed. And with helper springs, it gives you significantly more droop so that you need to be able to like push the arm down really far. So essentially his complaint was he wasn't able to get his shock in without taking it off the top, putting it on, then putting it in. So this arm will allow for complete articulation at full droop with no interference at all. And then the one concern was the interference here with the subframe. So I designed in the exact max bump of the shock, and we have good clearance still here. And this is in the arm's shortest position, and although this looks close, that is all the way in, it actually never does hit. And the reason is because it's just a pin that's rotating. Probably everyone's gonna be extended from here anyways. So that's some cool stuff that I've been working on. And then I posted that video on Instagram and everyone got so upset because I said, I was just moving this up and down, and then I just said, this is what happens when you lower your car. And then I said in a text, I said it ruins a bunch of stuff. I didn't specify anything. And the internet exploded of people saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I didn't say anything. So they were just upset that I said that when you lower your car, things get ruined. I could have been talking about the subframe. You're scraping your subframe, that's getting ruined. I could have been talking about your tires. You got more camber now, so it's gonna ruin your tires. They assumed I was talking about something that offended them, but I actually was just saying that it ruined stuff. So that was funny, that was a fun human experiment. Anyways, moving on. You've seen this before, but we had to finalize it and optimize it and perfect it. We put this on the E80. This is an E80 rear grip kit, bolt-on, dual caliper bracket with toe control, dynamic toe control. And I had to make a couple tweaks, and then we actually started mounting this to multiple different chassis and realizing that the knuckles change slightly per chassis. So the E80 and the E90 knuckle look identical, but they're not, slightly different. So we had to make some changes. Also, BMW made the hub depths different, so that really screwed us. Because when we did this originally for the E80, everything bolted on incredibly well. And then you go to the E90, which has a shorter offset hub, and it ruined everything. So we had to fix some stuff. Needless to say, fixed it, works great now. We have 2 going out for prototype testing with drivers. But the one thing I had to do was actually remove the correction on the upper traction arm here. And the reason was because it interferes with this brake caliper bolt, and there was no way to get the bolt in or out, and then there was no way to get the bolts for the control arm on. So it was just really upsetting. And then I went over to the subframe side of things. I mapped out the wheel well, I saw what was possible, and essentially, if you put that correction that was on the knuckle onto the subframe instead, and you can open this up and you can kind of see that I actually drew the sketch. This arc here is the center point of the control arm at standard ride height, and the whole move is slightly, it's up and then it's on the same arc, so it's slightly that way. And that is going to be the relocation hole for the traction arm. For when you lower the car, it's going to correct the drop. So it's going to give you the roll center correction that we wanted to do at the knuckle. And then we can see that the behavior is really nicely controlled. We can see all of our lines. We can see that the toe control is really great. And that's essentially what will actually be a product. It's a bracket that gives you a dual caliper. So right off the bat, you're getting a dual caliper bracket. The second thing you're getting is roll center correction. Now, this is also mostly for drifting, drag, and then I would say road race, but the thing is with road race guys, they want to maintain camber gain, and this actually reduces camber gain, but it gives you correction on your anti-squat and your roll. So for road race guys, they actually also need to drop the lower control arm mount here and the trailing arm, the lower trailing arm here. So those points both need to be dropped, which we did make weld-on pieces that drop the bearing down, and we actually did install those on the E80, but that's becoming invasive. So this bracket will bolt on and solve your problems. It's easy. You can do it in a couple of minutes. It's gives you the second bracket and all of that, but I would say that this probably won't be marketed to road race guys. This would be marketed to guys drag racing E80s and drifting E80s, because it actually does what it needs to do for both of those. Reduces camber gain, increases anti-squat, corrects roll center and all of that jazz, and then fixes your toe curve as well. You can use the mount over here. So for the road race guys, they're gonna have to work with the billet knuckle that I'm designing, because that's gonna correct absolutely everything. And I wanted to show you one thing that we showed on design time that we put on the car and ended up working really, really well. So that's what I'm gonna show you on the computer. You can walk out, the car's already set up. We unlock the steering wheel so that we can look at it. You can carry this tripod or something? Oh, quick lock, let's go. You can put this in design time. We made one small error. These worked so well, but when you hit a bump hard, this bolt actually poked right there, and this tire lost air because of that. So we're gonna move them a little narrower, and we're gonna cut the tips off, because other than that, these held air the whole time. That was actually when I fell through the ice.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water.
And the edge of the ice, like, I had 40 PSI in these tires, and it still made that hit the edge. So you live and you learn. We're still gonna use these bolts and put them in another new tire. And another side note, the more the tire is worn down, the better it actually is, because the rubber gives the bolt the ability to flex. You want to remove all the flexation in these bolts that you can. This E80 mini kit, which if you come from this side, and I'll switch spots with you, it gets just a ridiculous amount of angle. Like, for a mini kit with no interference, which is also crazy. But the thing that's cool, I showed you, this is the outer tie rod control arm that we did. So we made this. This is the adjuster sleeve made out of chromoly. Heim joint goes in here. Socket head bolt goes in here, tightens there. Pinch bolt's missing, but that gets pinched on there. You can actually adjust this control arm by loosening the pinch bolt and spinning this, and it'll lengthen and shorten this arm, then you just tighten the socket. This is our tie rod, and then we have our eccentric bearing in the OEM traction arm. So this arm in this position is about 35 millimeters longer than the stock one, which did push the wheel forward slightly. So then we went up here and we put our caster plate, our multi-hole camber plate. You guys have seen those. Dilly's making a ton of them right now. And we rotated it backwards. So we actually increased caster at the lowers. Then we increased caster even more at the top to get the caster and the wheel centered. So we gained about 2.5 degrees of caster, but we actually found that the double control arm design needed it. It's a little dead at low angle. So when we did this correction, the car woke right up and it felt absolutely amazing. Then when I drove this all day Sunday, and the renter who rented this car, his name's Colin, drove it all day Saturday, this car gets so much angle. It is so easy to drive. It is so intuitive. You can drive it with the radio on, single hand, just a finger on the wheel. I had so much fun, and there was not a single requirement to get any more angle than it had. It's a couple of scenarios where I was just about to loop it, and it had more. It just had more to give. So this is the secret sauce. This is a cheap setup in terms of how you can get this much angle, and it's just exciting. Marketing a control arm like this is actually the difficult thing, because we're using an outer tie rod. So the control arm itself would be sold without the outer tie rod. Like, you would just go to Rock Auto or wherever, you'd buy your own for 18 bucks or something. But then you get the OEM manufactured reliability out of the outer. And then all we're selling is the Heim joint, the adapter sleeve, a couple spacers. And then these plates are just amazing. Like, we are selling them quite regularly. I think these will take a while to really expand, but essentially we're going to make these for every car that we can possibly make them for, and basically dedicate an entire mill to them. So Dilly's been working on for weeks. Well, we won't do it in this video because we're already long enough. We'll do it in the next one. But Dylan has made a jig and fixture to machine 6 of these at one time with an exchange plate. So we machine multiple so that you can swap, and you can just swap 6 new ones on, machine them, take the old plate off, remove them, clean them, load them back up, and then you're essentially just exchange tabling all these on the mill. With the effort into this, this is going to become just a very high production model to make a bunch of these. And the craziest part is these are all different. Every chassis is different, but we designed the jig plate to hold all the models, as long as it's a 3-hole configuration. And he has like coolant evacuation and clearance holes for this and things for that, and he thought about all of it. So I'll let him talk about that on the next video, but basically these are going to be an amazing product for years to come, proofing how well they can work for your setup right here. The whole thing's just great, and this car's great. These motors are great. Everything's just great. But I'm excited to get the E36 out, because I will say the trailing arm and ice, that combination seems to be the ticket to speed on ice. This car wasn't bad. Obviously stock and OEM, so it's a little heavy. All the guys that were ripping, like Chelsea and Grant, all their cars are stripped to the max, so they're quite a bit lighter than this. But this car's got good power, so when we put the big studs on it, I'm excited to put this thing to the test and get some real speed out of it. That's it for this video. See you guys in the next one.